Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to this very, very miserable May day of cleaning. So we are heading off to our summer holiday, very early summer holiday, but our summer holiday next week. And so I really wanted to spend this week really deep cleaning the house. And I thought I would take you guys along with me so you can see the kinds of things that I'm doing to try and prepare the house for us going away and returning to hopefully a clean house. So I have been offline for a little while. As you guys might have noticed, it's been a couple of weeks since I've put a video out. My stress levels have been through the roof recently. With holiday coming up, with half term, obviously we're going on holiday during the half term. So the kind of assessments and things the kids have been doing at school, my son finishing up college, just everything is going on. And on top of that, my brain thought it would be a brilliant idea to start redoing the decoration in the bedroom, which has been an absolute nightmare from start to finish. It's finally redecorated. I just need to get a few new bits and bobs to kind of, make it pretty, make it cozy. And then I will show you guys that. But yeah, as a result of that, my stress levels have been through the roof these last couple of weeks. And so I decided to take a little bit of a break from filming just to kind of reground myself, restabilize. And now I'm back. So while I'm away on holiday, my videos might go a little bit out of sequence. It's likely that you won't see this video until a week, maybe a week and a half after I've filmed it. So this video is currently being filmed. It's the week before half term. So it's about 2 weeks before the end of May. I'm filming this video for you. And the aim of the game with this video, it might even get split into two because I've got so much to cover, is basically to go through each room in the house and give it a good deep clean. Not quite as deep as like a spring clean, but a pretty deep clean, so that when we come back from holiday, everything is still pleasant and I don't have to walk back through the door to a load of mess and muck and horrible stuff. So that's the plan for this week. So each day I am doing a new area of the house, and I also want to try and get out into the front garden as well. It's getting a little bit overgrown out there. That is going to be quite weather dependent though, so we'll see how much I can get done this week. So I decided to start the week in the kitchen because it was the grubbiest, grimiest room of the house when I decided to do it. So I'm going through and I'm kind of just moving everything. I'm cleaning the tiles, the worktops, the appliances. Everything is getting a good deep clean so that when we come back, I'm hoping there won't be any funky smells. Usually when we go away, I try and do this and I fail miserably. And this time I'm absolutely determined that we will come back and there won't be any funky smells. Now my dad is actually house sitting this time, so at least the drains and things will be getting water going through them regularly, so there shouldn't be any funky smells coming from there. But yeah, I really want to come back to a nice clean house. So that is the aim of the game this week. However, the Sunday before we go, so the kids will technically have already broken up for half term. We're all going to be having like a family house clean to put everything straight before we head off on the Sunday night. So we're heading off to Gran Canaria. This is my first kind of sunshine holiday. I am a massive wimp basically when it comes to flying, and have put off getting on a plane for almost 40 years, and the time has finally come. It's time to get on a plane and go somewhere sunny and get away from the rain and the cold of the UK, just have a week in the sunshine. So I really want to make sure that this time is the time where everything is really dealt with, all the laundry's done, there's fresh bedding on all the beds, everything is just done and dusted. So starting in the kitchen, I'm going through, I'm moving everything, I'm hitting the tiles, I'm hitting the worktops, like I said. I'm also going to try and get all of the appliances done, and they will get a refresh before we head away. So one of the things that I wanted to do in the kitchen, in particular this week, was deal with the hard water marks on the draining board and the sink. So this sink is like a brushed chrome, brushed steel, so I can get away with using pink stuff paste on this, so long as I keep it in a straight line going down the length of the draining board. If I was to scrub in a different direction, you would see the scratches that the pink stuff will leave. This stuff is abrasive, it will scratch. Do not use it on any highly polished surfaces, but you can get away with it on a brushed chrome, brushed steel surface, as long as you stick to the direction of the grain. And it actually gets the hard watermarks and drops and stains and things out pretty well. So I try and do this maybe, I want to say once a month, every 6 weeks, along them lines. I will go over it with pink stuff pretty gently. You don't need to scrub too hard, and it just brings it up really nice, and you can get a really good shine on it afterwards. So that's one of the main things that I wanted to get done today, so I'm very glad I managed to get that done. And then I will move on to the rest of the kitchen. Okay, so next up we have the main tap for the sink. So this is not a brushed chrome, this is a highly polished chrome, so I'm not going anywhere near it with pink stuff. I'm just using my Flash multi-purpose on a sponge, giving it a quick go over and then polishing it with a nice clean tea towel. Next on my list was this caddy. I'm having mixed feelings about the caddy at the moment. It's nice to have somewhere separated off to put all of the washing up bits and the brushes and things like that, but this does need a pretty thorough cleaning a few times a week. It really harbours a lot of bacteria. Even though it's supposed to drain, it doesn't really drain properly, even though we have it propped up, and it's always kind of slimy and just really, really unhygienic. So after I have taken the time to do this today, I do end up throwing it away, and we have our sponge and brush and all of that just in a redundant vase that we had floating around the place, which is so much easier just to rinse out each day than to take this whole thing apart and clean it up. It was also starting to rust on the joins, so it wasn't looking particularly attractive either. I'm glad that it's gone now. I was putting off getting rid of it for quite a while, but I'm glad that it's finally gone and it's done. So moving on now to the worktops. I recorded this a few days ago. I'm trying to remember what I used. Give me a second. Okay, so that is just some hot soapy water that I'm going over with the microfiber cloth at the moment. And then I believe I come back over it later on with a bit of Zoflora just to give it a bit of a disinfect. I don't know if I recorded that though. I was really worried that this video was going to be too long because of the depth that I was cleaning everything. So I can't remember if I filmed it or not, but I do go back over this later on with a bit of the Lemon Zing Zoflora. Smells gorgeous. And then I've got my little wax melt burner there. I've actually got a Christmas scent in this at the moment. I'm feeling, okay, I'm one of those people who is annoyingly festive year round. year round I'm thinking about Christmas. I'm doing Christmas things, I'm looking at Christmas decorations, I'm buying Christmas decorations. Even now, we're in May when I'm recording this, and already I've had a couple of deliveries of Christmas decorations, baubles and things for the tree. I am an annoyingly festive person, and some days I just wake up in a really, really festive mood. And the only real way that I can get that out of my system is to whack my headphones on with some Christmas music, Michael Bublé, and have a nice kind of winter spice wax melt burning. It seems to get it out of my system without actually sitting there with a Christmas tree up year round, which I wouldn't be totally against, if I'm honest. I'd do it if I could get away with it and not be judged. I would have a Christmas tree up 365 days of the year without fail. I love my tree. I can't wait to put it up. And I'm so glad that we are very nearly halfway to Christmas. One Christmassy thing that will be coming up soon, and I know it's a bit jarring for most people who are not obsessed with Christmas like me, but halfway to Christmas we usually have a little bit of a halfway there mini celebration, maybe like a movie. We have a Christmas pudding. I always buy an extra Christmas pudding. We have that. But this year I also want to go up into the loft. I want to pull down all my Christmas stuff because I've got way too much. Even for me, I've got way too much. And I need to go through it, and I need to organise it and sort it out and get rid of a load of it. So that when Christmas does come, it's going to be a lot simpler for me to go up into the loft, grab the bits down, and hit the ground running with Christmas. So that will be a video coming up annoyingly soon, I'm afraid. So if you guys are into Christmas as much as I am, yay. That one will be coming up soon. But even if you're not all that into Christmas, it should be a nice kind of declutter and reorganised video coming up soon anyway. So back to the task at hand. I am tackling two of my least favourite jobs now. I am currently doing the oven and I'm doing the fryer. So the oven, I know I keep talking about we're getting a new one soon. It feels like it's never going to happen. Things keep coming up that we have to spend money on, and it just pushes it back and back and back, getting the new oven. But honestly, I can't wait. If I don't have the new oven in place by Christmas, I'll be a very sad girl. I hate cleaning this one. This one we bought very quickly when our last oven died. And we didn't really kind of research very well. We just went for the cheapest, quickest delivery that we could get. And it was this, I think this is an Indesit oven. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I like the ovens where you can take the, like the shelf racks, you can take them off the side so that you can clean the side easier. These shelf racks are kind of moulded as a part of the actual oven. You can't remove them. So you can't clean them. So I can clean the bottom of this oven perfectly, but the sides I can't clean properly because I can't get it out to soak it, and anything I spray on it just runs off. It's an absolute nightmare to clean it. So definitely we did a lot of research with the new oven. The sides are removable. It's going to be so much easier to clean it all. So the oven just had a quick go over. I cleaned the door, I cleaned the inside. It was not a deep clean. I didn't use any oven pride or anything like that. I just went to town with my elbow grease spray and gave that the best clean that I could. So moving on now to the fryer. I hate this thing. I hate fryers. I really do. I feel like there's just not place for them in the home. I feel like deep fat fryers should be like a restaurant food place thing only. They're disgusting. They are so unhygienic. They are always really difficult to clean, and therefore certainly I don't clean them very often, and I think a lot of people probably are the same. They cover your kitchen in grease. They promote unhealthy eating habits. They're just horrible, horrible things. If I had my way, we absolutely would not have a deep fat fryer at all. We would make do with the air fryer. However, my husband does not like the taste of the chips from the air fryer, and I am inclined to agree with him. Chips from a deep fat fryer do taste a lot better. However, I think if we had to eat air fryer chips or oven chips, we would have them less often and therefore would be making healthier choices. So I feel like having this thing just, it promotes a bad lifestyle. But he will not relent. So we have to keep this horrible thing in our home. I am looking to get a new one that's maybe a slightly easier design to clean. But for today, I'm just giving this one the best clean that I can. It's a few years old. It's never going to come out looking new, but I'm going to give it the best clean that I can. So I absolutely saturated the whole thing in elbow grease spray. I now need to go out and get some more because I've run out. And I've let that sit for approximately 20-25 minutes, something like that. And then I'm going to go over it with some nice hot soapy water and just get off as much of the grease that I can from the outside body, the inner tank, the element, everything. So in the midst of this, I realised that I had left the oven liner in the sink. I was soaking it. And I started to clean it off. It was taking forever, so I didn't film it all. But I ended up going over it with my glass scraper to try and get some of the grease off. And I went through it with the blade. So it did actually end up in the bin. And I continued on with the fryer. I like the oven liners, they're great, but I feel like they need to be more kind of, I hate to say it because it's really wasteful, but disposable. I need to find a disposable method of lining the oven because, you know, they're quite expensive, but they're difficult to clean. They're just as difficult as cleaning the bottom of the oven. And then that's just another thing that you've got to clean. So for the time being, we're going to go without. I'm going to try and keep on top of the base of the oven once a week, just give that a clean out and see how we get on with that until we get the new oven in place, and then hopefully I can find something a little bit more permanent. If any of you guys have got any ideas other than a silicone sheet in the bottom of the oven to try and minimise how often I clean it, please let me know, because as many of you know, cleaning the oven is like my worst thing. I would rather clean 1,000 toilet bowls than an oven. I hate cleaning it, and I hate cleaning this fryer too. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. I think all in all, obviously this footage is sped up, I do not move this quickly. It took about 45-50 minutes to clean this fryer, which was 45-50 minutes of time I really didn't want to spend cleaning a fryer. And I have to do this kind of every 3 or 4 weeks to keep it at a manageable level. It's really horrible. My hands were wrecked at the end of this. I wish I'd put some gloves on. My skin was peeling. It was like cracking on my knuckles. It was really, really horrible. However, the fryer does look a lot better, and it's holding out well. I'm trying to give it a quick wipe down every couple of days with hot soapy water, and it seems to be keeping the worst of it off. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, if I had my way, this thing would be in the bin and gone before you could say bye. I couldn't wait to get rid of it, honestly. It's going to be a wonderful thing when this thing goes. If I can ever convince my husband the air fryer is enough. Okay, with the fry up finally finished, I can move on to some other areas of the house, of the kitchen, sorry. So moving on to the microwave, nice quick job, nice quick clean out, hot soapy water and a little bit of flash spray does the job beautifully. I love this microwave, it's wonderful. It doesn't have a turntable, you just pop stuff in and warm it up, easy peasy, and it does a job of good one, and it doesn't take too much to clean it, and it doesn't rust underneath where the turntable usually is, which was an issue I've had with literally every other microwave I've ever had in my life. That bit underneath the turntable would always sit pooled with water, and I wouldn't realise soon enough, and it would end up kind of rusting and peeling the paint off. So love that microwave. Moving on now to the bins, my never-ending forever job. Every time I go into the kitchen, these bins want emptying. I am going to go with the idea that one of you had, sorry, I forget who it was, of building like a kind of surround for these bins. So we still need 3 separate bins so that we can separate off our rubbish into general waste, recycling and different recycling, because of course one recycling bin is not enough. But I really hate the way they look. So definitely I'm having a look at a few ideas for some different ways to build a surround around them. I've toyed with a few ideas, one being actually building a kind of wooden surround. My concern with that would be cleaning it. Cleaning wooden things is kind of difficult unless they're highly polished, and also accessing the bins. I feel like if it's got any kind of lid on it, no one's going to put anything in the bin, they're just going to dump it on top of the unit that surrounds the bin. So that's a little bit of a concern of mine. So I then thought, okay, well, how about we spray paint the bins? Probably just, a simple colour like white, something like that, maybe an off kind of beigey colour, just so they don't stand out as obviously as they currently do. And then on the lids I could just get some nice vinyl stickers or something made so that we know which bin is which, although we do anyway just by their placement, but for guests and things, which I think is the most likely outcome at the moment. But it would be nice to have something to kind of corral them a little bit, because they do slip about, they do move. So maybe a surround that goes around the outside of them, but the lids are still open, but spray painted is probably going to be the solution I'm going for. So anyway, enough rambling about bins. Currently going around and just doing the skirting boards. They get so dusty, and where they put them in, they aren't actual skirting boards, they're just kind of pieces of 2x4 that they've stuck to the wall and painted, and then they've used silicone to kind of join them to the wall. I would have used caulk. I would have used silicone for the bottom, obviously, because mopping, but where they actually join to the wall, I would have used caulk as opposed to silicone. And where they've siliconed over the top, everything, the dust really sticks. You can't just wipe it off, it's not that simple. So when I redo the kitchen, I'm certainly going to be changing that out for caulk, and then hopefully it will be a bit easier to clean those. So just going round now with the old Zoflora and getting the fronts of the cabinets done. I did run out my Zoflora doing this, but that's okay, I can always get more. I am looking to simplify my cleaning products right down to maybe 4 or 5 items. Again, that's a video for a later date. But as much as I love going out and buying a whole bunch of cleaning stuff for like a deep clean, I enjoy that. I like having all the different lotions and potions I can use. It makes it more fun. I then have the issue of storing them all, and I'm just getting a bit fed up of having like 1,000 different bottles and running up and down the stairs to get the right potion for the right thing. So I'm going to be moving my cleaning stuff to a small space, and I'm going to be reducing it down to my absolute essential items. Zoflora is definitely one of them. I use Zoflora all the time for all kinds of different things, but mainly for wiping down my kitchen cupboards, wiping down my kitchen sides, and cleaning kind of the toilet and the bathroom because of the disinfectant properties. So certainly Zoflora is going to be one of the mainstays in my cleaning supplies, and it's nice that I can change it out seasonally as well. Certainly I won't be getting any more of the winter spice one. I like the cinnamon one for Christmas, but that winter spice is going to haunt me forevermore. It's a nice smell, but oh my goodness, did I get fed up with that. So the rest of the time I tend to use the lemon zing, which I'm using here today. And last up in the kitchen today is going to be the floors. As usual, I tend to try and leave those for last, because I can then mop myself out of the room and go and sit and have a nice cup of tea while the floor is drying. So a quick sweep with my broom. I really must replace this. This broom I've had, oh my goodness, 4-5 years, something like that. And the very first week that we had it, it got caught on something, I can't remember what, but it got caught and it kind of bent in a really funny angle, and now you have to sweep kind of weirdly with it. And the dustpan as well, it's seen better days. It's time to replace this. But for now, it's going to have to do. It still does a job. It still serves a purpose. And I'm trying not to waste money on things I don't really need. But yes, at some point in the near future, I will be swapping out this dustpan. And now, getting on with the mopping. So first I'm going around with my, it's kind of a Dishmatic, but it's not a Dishmatic. It's like a Sheen version. It's not very good. I won't deny it. It doesn't hold onto any liquid that you put into the handle. Unfortunately, it leaks, as I should have expected. But I'm going around with that and just getting some of the bits that were stuck to the floor. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but there was a load of black stuff stuck to the floor. I have a horrible feeling it was engine oil from my husband's job. He's a lorry driver, so he's always kind of crawling around underneath lorries and attaching leads and stuff like that, and 9 times out of 10 he comes into the house absolutely covered in engine oil and grease and all that nasty stuff, and I think some of it somehow got onto the kitchen floor and stuck there. So at least the what should we call it, the Sheen Dishmatic, it got that up. So I just went around first and did that, and now I'm going in with it's just some Flash multi-purpose in some nice hot water. I think I put a little bit of laundry detergent in as well. I do this sometimes when I want a little bit more of a deeper clean. I find that it really helps to get grease and stains and things off of the hard floor. Do be careful what you use it on though. If you are going to use it at home, guys, please do a patch test before you go and do anything. This is just a cheap vinyl lino that the Housing Association put down when they did the kitchen. It's nothing special. It can be replaced cheaply. So I'm not too scared of messing it up. So that is the kitchen finally finished. Hopefully it will stay some level of clean until we go away, but we'll see. So this is day 2 and it was gorgeous outside. I didn't have very long today though, so I really wanted to pop out and just cut back some of the garden and get that looking a bit more tame. The wisteria this year, I don't know, I think I messed up. I've had this wisteria in for about 5 or 6 years now, and it never ever flowered. And I ended up a couple of years ago watching a tutorial that Adam Titchmarsh did on how to get these bad boys to flower. And I pruned it exactly as he said, and the next spring we had beautiful wisteria flowers on it, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I did the same thing last year, and this year nothing. I don't know what I did wrong. I think I might have left it a tiny bit too late and ended up cutting off the flower buds, like the budded bits, instead of just the normal trim. But yeah, we had one tiny measly little flower on it this year. I was absolutely gutted because I love wisteria flowers. I think they're beautiful. So I've given that a bit of a tame back, the bits that I can reach, and now I'm just going to go along and give the path a bit of a sweep, just to get sometimes we get the slate ends up on the path, we get a bit of mud there, we get all sorts, and we just had our shed door redone because it was rotting away, so there was like wood splinters and stuff as well. So one of the next things I wanted to do today in the garden was to just harvest some of these hellebore seeds. It's a little early. They're not totally ripe yet, but I'm going to try and ripen these up on the windowsill because I don't want these seed pods splitting and seeding into the ground while we're away. Our garden is very small. We do not have room for the hellebores to be spreading via seed. So I'm going to take those off, I'm going to dry them out, and then I'm going to pop them into a seed packet for a later date, and I might grow some more on for my sister or for families and friends and stuff like that. While I'm over in this bed, I'm just going to do a little bit of weeding. I'm hoping that when we get back from holiday, but I think actually probably maybe autumn is probably going to be the best time to do it, is I've got a big lovely sedum plant in the back garden that I want to put into this spot here. So I'm going to move a couple of things out. Those kind of twisted branchy bits that you can see are salvia, which is really lovely, but it's grown like along the ground rather than up. I think because this is a heavy shade area, it's full shade. So I'm going to try and take that out and put the sedum in here instead. And then that leaves me space in the back garden for, I really want to get a lovely acer tree to give it a bit of height. So yeah, I think, yeah, probably the autumn's going to be the best time to do that. When that sedum naturally dies down, I'll try and get it in here. So before I leave the garden today, I just want to strip off some of these wisteria, I'm going to call them whips, whatever they call them, I call them whips, because I want to keep some of these lovely flexible branches for making kind of training cages around some of my other plants later on in the year. Certainly my amaryllis bulbs and things like that will need a cage. So I'm going to strip those leaves off and keep some of those. And that's going to be it for part 1. Join me very soon for part 2 of my deep house clean. I will see you next time. Bye bye.